This video is intended to describe a Loveshine platform Lightblade Talisman. I will start with the main blade banding consisting of kunzite and rose quartz in ignition order. Kunzite is a lovely lithium-based pink-gray stone of divine love that creates a very soothing, higher love frequency through the broadcast, hence it's a Loveshine platform, designed to be a very intensive pink-gray high divine love broadcast signature through many different subtle frequencies as a subroutine, grounded to one primary wire to close a energy reactive circuit. Rose quartz is a very famous stone utilization for the pink ray of love, quite common in this reality, which is actually a very great thing for all of creation, truth be told, because love is a very powerful force in creation. It is the epicenter of what matters in reality. So having a weaponized love platform, the advantageous benefits are quite vast and quite prominent because it is directly focusing the energy to affect the high heart center. Oh, by the way, this is my horrific chakra map that I use to describe things, and please be patient and laugh with me on this subject. So igniting the sequence of kunzite and rose quartz makes a tandem powerful pink ray activation for the higher heart love receptivity and projection and reception of the pink ray of divine love, quite simply. Running the ignition sequence like so, going into this first lateral band of transmutation blade band ratio consisting of hematite and smoky quartz. And this ratio of this stone exact vibratory ignition sequence pattern continues up the side right here, this lateral band, then closes the circuit back here. Hematite is a very effective iron-based mineral that actually has a very strong grounding effect of pulling all stray radial energies through the base chakra into the earth stars, into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing. Smoky quartz transmutes any kind of negativity in contact environment as well as properly arcs the etheric ground for all excess radial energy. Hence, the utilization of smoky quartz and hematite in the ignition sequence makes a very clearing, grounding, purifying platform for the rest of this frequency to run through as it completes its energy ignition cycle. So the combination of these two dramatically, both in tandem, can purify and ground all excess energy into the earth plane meridian matrix beneath the earth stars for energetic reprocessing. You could think of it also as etheric Teflon with this configuration to ensure that no stray densities actually will stick to the auric field and manifest as any kind of dis-ease by such a strong arcing grounding into the earth plane. And continuing up here is the apex band. This is a synergistic combination of quartzite and prehnite. Quartzite, of course, is a quartz with calcite in the matrix, which makes a neutral programmable pathway to run the current, as well as a slight clearing variant, since it's white calcite, has a nice clearing spectrum from the entire electromagnetic spectrum from top to bottom. Hence it's white, the emanation of the light spectrum diffused. Prehnite is an amazing stone of the green ray that has a very lovely soothing stimulation to the third and fourth chakras to bridge the heart and the will. And it's a very powerful stone for healing the healers, is famously coined to be utilized. And is also, in my opinion, the most effective analog frequency broadcast to Raphael the Archangel, the great green healer of the angelic realm. More of a force than almost a consciousness. So having that innate background soothing frequency is very advantageous, complementary to this main pink ray focus of the pink love that's swapping from the third to the fourth, like so. Is also very powerful for energy sensitivity as well as any kind of broadcast of magic or vibrational induction, so to speak. I will start with this side of the blade face right here. This is a combination of sunstone, rainbow moonstone, and spectralite labradorite, a rare variant of labradorite, hence it's a little more whiter, more spectrum oriented, hence it got its trade name. The combination of sunstone is very beneficial masculine energy of the third and sacrum stimulation, and very much a cornucopia of abundance and blessings is the embodiment of this frequency. Moonstone right here, rainbow moonstone, is a very powerful receptive yin. So you can think of this as a yang projective, and the moonstone being the yin, which is also very effective for energy sensitivity, as well as creating a nice kind of force field that can be very effective for having such a positive receptive frequency that makes it harder for densities to basically shift the field. So a lot of these frequencies on this device will be, of course, transmutation, psychic protection devices, as well as clearing of patterns, which is pretty evident in this complex vibratorial ignition sequence that will be in one closed-loop circuit in benefit of the wielder of this device. Spectralite right here is labradorite, which is a very powerful stone of magic. So you can think of this also, like I said, masculine, feminine, and shadow. So the trinity of those aspects and the triangulation of those frequencies right at the base right here makes very powerful masculine, feminine, and shadow stimulation, which of course is very powerful for the receptive, projective, and the spiritual aspects of higher perception. So both these stones right here, of course, work wonderful for clairsentience, which is sensing of energy, or any kind of psychic endeavors of any nature, since they're both kind of yin, with the veil-piercing capacity of labradorite, makes a very powerful increase of magic. Continuing on the blade face, this is a very specialized variety of serpentine named infinitite. Infinitite is a relatively rarer stone from South Africa, and has gained quite notoriety in metaphysical usages due to its a technically more superior vibrational usage of serpentine. Infinitite has a very lovely energetic insulation of the auric field, if you would, as well as highly increases intuitive energy receptions, making one more sensitive to ley lines and magical impulses of vibrations around us at all times for the conscious self to adhere to. And also, in more practical terrestrial terms, very powerful for clearing any kind of base to heart particularly, and the entire chakra column of Kundalini activation, and decrystallizing patterns in the auric field that would be habitually stuck patterns that would be blocking the lower light body activation. So the benefits of that guy are quite vast. This right here, prominently placed on this side of the blade face, is morganite. Morganite is pink emerald, which is related to emerald in the beryl family. So it has a relatively hard hardness, oftentimes of 8.5 to 9 on the 10 out of 10 hardness scale. So it has a very hard, strong emanation of the pink ray, which is very complementary to the main energy focus, which is the premier stone of the pink ray divine love. You could think of kind of like rose quartz, but a more intensive, dense frequency broadcast of that divine love. So this is the quintessential stone of soulmates in the mineral kingdom. To have like that emanation highlighted and focused of that divine love resonance, which is the entire template of one's highest path in love, through love, and with love in their radial field, to attract that love externally, of course, by having the internal resonance to manifest that pink ray love frequency vibration, which is, like I said, very self-evidently amazing. This right here is serpentine. Oh, sorry. I was looking at this while saying that. This is seraphinite. Seraphinite is a lovely stone of the green ray that is a very powerful archangel imbuement frequency stone, hence the name seraphim. It makes a very lovely stimulation of the entire light body and strongly aligns one's light body template to the physical body. So in tandem with everything else, you can imagine that in the sequence that the purification of any kind of Kundalini aspects is augmented by this, and the focus right here of the pink ray really focuses on any kind of outmodeled patterns of the love receptivity of the candidate's auric field to be dissipated, cleared, and aligned to their divine blueprint's love pattern. This right here is the lovely Libyan desert sandglass or Libyan gold tektite. This was a stone highly utilized and praised in ancient Egypt for the incorporation in the pharaohic breastplates. It's kind of a long story to get into, but the Egyptian wizards, or the pharaoh's court wizards, or magicians, you want to say, would actually use remote viewing apparently and would send out teams to remote parts of Libyan desert to retrieve this glass, according to legend, and have this glass carved into a scarab beetle to be the central power piece of a pharaoh's energy breastplate, kind of like the same rendition of what this technology is intended to vibrate at. So, Libyan gold tektite, of course, has very powerful ties to ancient Egypt, as well as one's sovereign, like true inner king or inner queen status by having a strong induction of the sacrum and solar plexus, making it technically a firestone with full storm overtones of higher frequency energies, and is very powerful for manifestation. By intensifying the yellow solar plexus through ritualistic intention, prayer, magic, if you would, it makes a very powerful augmentation to that true highest self manifestation in alignment with divine will. Next to that, speaking of divine will, this is Moldavite. Moldavite is a really legendary stone of the green ray, born of mysterious circumstances, and is a very powerful tektite. Moldavite has a very powerful way to align one's heart to their higher divine blueprint. So you can think of it as a massive accelerator towards the true self matrix of the auric field template, which has gained infamy in this timeline because it can dramatically change one's life so rapidly that it can almost seem like chaotic shifts, like their life's falling apart, because indeed their false self matrix is falling apart to give way to their true spiritual blueprint. Kind of like the analogy of to make an omelet, you gotta crack a few eggs. That's what Moldavite does. But the idea too, by having such a soothing resonance with the transmutation, all the stability frequencies, which I'll get into momentarily, is to get the most out of that divine radial impact while mitigating all the undesirable shift growing pains. And right here, in honor of a very Egyptian-based platform, actually is a pyramid on a light blade talisman. Kind of nifty. This pyramid right here actually is golden healer quartz. Just like the main engine, you can't really see it because it's buried under this amazing Eye of Horus and Ankh ring. But down here, there is a bead of the same stone, golden healer quartz, all the way under tucked away. Has a very powerful gold white light Christ frequency emanation, which of course aligns the higher heart to the source of creation, is the frequency that this imbues in both aspects. Hence, the tandem focus of the main engine, as well as a vibratory sharpened focus projector at approximately a 45-degree angle. It's pretty close to that. While in play, while in use, could actually make a very powerful focused energy runs around the circuit to broadcast the sharpened focus of this main emanation frequency through the crystalline gold white light Christ energy. Focused. And not to mention, of course, pyramids have ancient Egyptian connotations and are very powerful energy focusers used since time literally immemorial. Okay. Moving on to the section where this hood will be installed after I describe the selenites and the kyanites once again. Selenite is a very powerful clearing of the 6th, 7th, and higher non-physical chakras towards a higher self configuration. Also clears any kind of densities of dense energies throughout the entire auric field. That's it by itself, description-wise. But utilized in a construct, as the energy runs through the selenite, it produces a amplification, purification, and harmonization of the entire frequency output. So you can think of it as another aspect to really harmonize and accelerate the entire frequency bandwidth and keep it consistently purified through the radial density fields, which is called being a human and living life. And the black, orange, green, and blue kyanites make very rapid transfers of energy throughout the entire auric field. Black kyanite predominantly grounding all excess energy in the earth meridian matrix at a constant rate. Orange kyanite stimulating the sacrum of the one's higher self into the physical self. Green kyanite dramatically also opens bridges to the heart of creation, to the heart of people they interact with. A great stone of diplomacy is kyanite for being able to bridge energetic gaps of discoherence very rapidly, as well as blue kyanite, making a very powerful neural pathway re-stimulating of the higher psychic mind. So you can think of like the four of these combined, always constantly bridging and stitching and stabilizing to the optimum configuration of the vibratory output of one's highest blueprint manifesting constantly bridges. So you can think it's more of a energy reactive part of the platform to always be etherically compensating in the background of the frequency to optimize the ideal vibratory platform of the entire chakra spectrum, while also, once again, insulating the field and making sure that nothing of density can actually stick to its frequency radially by having a constant bridge path, kind of like the Aaron's breastplate construct, the Ark of the Covenant. The breastplate, of course, will, just like this thing, will diffuse the excess current, ground it through, and make puffers and transmuters and stabilizers to ensure the maximum radial interaction. That's a whole other subject. I almost apologize for digressing. This section right here will have a white leather hood installed, which will be another color therapy insulation broadcast of the full spectrum of the white light. And also a way to insulate and protect the subtle crystals underneath this entire section. Getting into this guy right here, this is blue lace agate, which is a water elemental agate that stabilizes the fifth chakra to impeccably focus the voice. Moss green agate right here, there we go, is another water elemental agate that stabilizes the heart and the base. So one quick disclaimer before I go further into the agates and jaspers is that agate and jasper also work as very powerful stabilizers in the mineral kingdom of whatever elemental spectrum they also respectively represent. So both the blue and green are very stabilized versions of the blue ray and the green ray to give context of the importance to have a stabilized frequency output through such a vast, complex device. This right here is red jasper, also utilized in ancient Egypt to actually be tied to the wrists of newborns to stabilize the etheric body of a new incarnation avatar. Fun fact, and so this stone is a earth red ray base chakra stabilization. I'll get into the agates to keep the continuity of the train of thought. This right here is fire agate, which stabilizes the base, sacrum, and solar plexus. They're very much the in the body experience in a lot of ways, and to be like possessed for life kind of frequency, which is very very advantageous for the completed human avatar to stabilize the lower three, as the zest for life is quite important in completing the whole circuit. You can't have a rainbow. You can't have a rainbow just the color purple. Anyhow, so right here, this is shungite. Shungite's a relatively in vogue black ray carbon-based stone that has a very powerful way to mitigate EMF waves from harming the subtle DNA of the human body, as well as another purification stone, kind of like a charcoal filter if you would, that would purify the entire auric field and also ground all excess energy into the earth for reprocessing once again. Hence, the utilization of black ray stones is very useful in these high vibration devices. Speaking of black ray stone, this is black tektite. Black tektite is the product of a meteorite impacting sand catching that extraterrestrial cosmic jolt into reality. And so it has a very powerful light body activation that also is a black ray stone, so the energy that it stimulates is very from the ground up through the entire light body. So it's another Kundalini activator that goes up the entire chakra column spine, but like I always digress back to, it's black ray, and so that makes a very prominent ground up activation, which is very useful. Speaking of ground up activation, something I completely forgot to address, the very apex of this blade, down underneath this section right here is fulgurite. Fulgurite is petrified lightning. That is the power of lightning caught in sand, catching the energy of lightning, which makes a very powerful light body activation all the way through, because it has that lightning energy of divine radial power, as well as an intensification of any kind of intentions and manifestations utilized by shamans of times immemorial once again, and it's a very powerful stone for intensification of prayer. So that's pretty nifty. Let's see. With all my digressions, I must retract back to where I was. This right here is turquoise. Turquoise is a lovely earth, fire, water, and wind elemental stone containing the focus of the blue ray, the fifth chakra. Hence, the stone of wholeness utilized by First Nation tribes and is a ancient grandfather ally to be in one's wholeness and truth. Lapis lazuli. This was a stone very much in vogue in ancient Egypt. As you may notice in this description, there's a lot of Egyptian connotations to this device. Hence this, I'll get into that once again. Lapis lazuli is a wind elemental stone that's very stimulating to the 5th and 6th chakras of the wind element. It's a very powerful stone for any kind of psychic endeavors of having the higher mind activate. Hence, it's been used ritualistically by different Egyptian magic casts for a very long time, so its use in human consciousness is quite vast in psychic endeavors, as well as being a stone of Isis and being a past life regression device and psychic stimulant. So, another amazing stone of metaphysical usage. And this variant has a little bit of calcite in the matrix, which also makes it more of a clearing pattern. Alrighty, and over here, this is ruby and zoisite. You can't quite see the ruby based on the way you can from here. This is a combination of ruby and zoisite, which ruby, of course, is the king of the red ray base chakra activation stones, in tandem with zoisite, which is a powerful heart-mind coherence activator. To elliptically get that heart-mind coherence online. The wonderful combination of that, though, is dramatic shifts of change of one's heart's mind coming to fruition, as well as the pure passion that the ruby produces makes a very powerful dynamic shift between these three centers. So in this talisman apparatus, it makes a very useful shift to one's true inner happiness in a lot of ways, which is the love spectrum. Hence, that's theoretically, when you have the proper love vibration of happiness and joy, things go well. It's like a miracle reality cohesion. This right here, can't quite see it that well, it's pretty small, is a small Tibetan black quartz. Tibetan black quartz actually stimulates the entire chakra column from the Earth star to the Soul star in a simultaneous grounding of cosmic high-frequency energy. It has carbon-based inclusions just like the shungite I mentioned, which makes a very powerful charcoal filter purification for the auric field. And since it comes from Tibet, a place on this planet that has had excessive amounts of high-frequency spiritual work downloaded into the entire region for thousands of years, definitely leaves a mark. And so the vibrational impact of the Tibetan black quartz has that very powerful ohm frequency purification to the entire auric field through, once again, alignment through creation, just like the golden healer quartz down here, just through a slightly different variable spectrum. And another fun fact, this device is on its way to New York, and one of New York's most famous mineral specimens is called the Herkimer diamond, which this little guy, barely seen here, is a Herkimer diamond, which is a clear quartz of a very sharp, high-frequency spectrum. Quite famous in metaphysical rock crystal healing use due to the fact that it has such a perfect embodiment of the light, of energy, caught in stone. Can't really see it that well because it is a little guy right there. But also, of course, works as an accelerant to the entire frequency platform to bring the pitch even higher, kind of like supercharging the frequency further in a very small dose. I believe that is the entire crystalline matrix. So, in conclusion, also the core is set on cedarwood, which is from my lovely backyard. And cedarwood, it makes a very powerful magical connotations to the kingdom of King Solomon using magical rituals and things of that nature. So cedarwood is a very magical wood, has a lot of legend around it. That's why the core of this device is on a sanded cedar core. So in conclusion, the intentional broadcast of all these crystals in one closed loop circuit to make a reactive device broadcast is to be the Loveshine frequency of the extreme concentration of love through all the stabilized filters, and to have the embodiment to walk in love in a very impeccable manner. And that concludes this video's description, besides the fact that I utilized a ring right here, which I wire wrapped up here by the main engine where this necklace will hook into. This is the Ankh, the key of life, a symbol of immortality utilized heavily in ancient Egypt. And this is the Eye of Horus, particularly the right eye of Horus, which is more like the feminine mystery school aspects. And this is the Ankh once again. So having that Egyptian connotation of the Ankh and the Eye of Horus in tandem with the pyramid gives it a very powerful Egyptian recall energy, so to speak. And that does conclude the mineral composition and the intention. Also, this device will be equipped with this little guy right here, which I had in my inventory, which can be worn on the hip, kind of like Mickey Mouse in the Sorcerer's Apprentice if you really wanted to. And that's how that works. It's pretty nifty. So, of course, that will fit right in there on the hip if it wants to be more concealed in this aspect, to have a power pack on a pouch on the hip. Well, 1,000 blessings, and may the force be with all of us.